Joe, player from the Virginia area.
Yep. Looks like he came to this tournament with no buys, unfortunately for him, but did win round number 1. Noble Hierarch is going to start off game number 3 for him. A Delver Secrets was not flipping. Looks like, though, maybe it looks like Maready may have forgotten the trigger on that, because I believe his draw actually was a copy of Kolagon's command, so that's a touch awkward.
Moved a little fast there.
Yeah. Here comes the Delver. Only 1 point of damage when perhaps it should have been 3. So we'll see if that comes back to hurt Maready here. Sulphur Falls is land at number 2. And a passing of the turn. Over to Cholewa. Windswept Teeth is the land. We'll see if he can find an infect creatures. He doesn't have one just yet. Noble Hierarch looks like it's going to tap for some mana. Maybe not. Cholewa, we're going to start maybe by sacrificing Windswept Teeth. Very unsure of himself here on turn 2.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's an awkward second turn there from Daniel, just passing the turn. Represents something like Mana Leak or Remand most likely, and now Marius has to figure out how he wants to navigate that.
Yeah, Mana Leak's going to take care of the Spellskite, and there will be a passing of the turn back to Maready. Trigger the Delver. It is not flipping this time. Tasker was the draw. In comes a Delver for 1, perhaps. Cholewa going to very quickly sacrifice a Windswept Teeth, and maybe we'll see a Dryad Arbor sneak out of that fetch land. Looks like we will. There will be a trade.
And talk about max punishment for Daniel missing that Delver trigger.
Yeah.
Not only was he down to 3 damage that turn, but now there's a trade.
Young Pyromancer will allow Maready to get his creatures back online to dispel the draw here for Cholewa. Very quickly sacrificing a Wooded Foothills is Marius. He'll search up a Breeding Pool, take 2 damage from that. Life total is a concern in this matchup for Infect.
Though Marius is definitely the aggressor. I agree, and I believe that if he's getting a dual land untapped right now, it's got to mean he has some sort of soft piece of permission to protect this Blighted Agent.
Blighted Agent was the play with mana available. You can see a Dispel here in Cholewa's hand. You can imagine a 1-mana spell outside of Dispel being cast, like a Vine to the Vastwood or a Pump spell, as the Serum Visions will be cast by Maready, which means an elemental token will be made from Young Pyromancer. Card is drawn, a little scry action.
Blighted Agent's just perfect here, too. A place where Infect can get into some trouble. It's not great against a sea of blockers. Spectral Procession, Lingering Souls, they're pretty potent cards. And Blighted Agent's very good at working around that kind of stuff. And Daniel may be able to amass a board here with Young Pyromancer, but there's a good chance it's too slow to kill Marius and provides no defense against Blighted Agent.
Looks like Marius going to keep both cards on top. Young Pyromancer going to come into the red zone here. Just going to take that damage past the turn back. Cholewa going to draw. Curious that Maready not playing the island in his hand at this point. Didn't play it last turn or the turn prior. Here's a Might of Old Croja. He'll get an Exalted trigger there. Now here's a Vines to the Vastwood. So he's just making his move.
Yep.
Thinks that he's got his opponent dead, and he does in fact. Infect is going to take care of Grixis Delver, which means that Marius Cholewa is going to move on to 2-0 here early on from Charlotte. Expect to see quite a bit of Infect because of the influx of Amulet Bloom and Tron, and with the right matchups, Marius Cholewa could have a very good tournament.
It's also kind of a budget option, too. It's an aggressive deck. People gravitate towards aggressive decks. It's not that expensive to build. A lot of people who are playing in Charlotte are going to be playing in their first big tournament. Budget may be a concern. And so you're going to see a lot of Infect and a lot more burn, I think, than you would see in something like the Invitational that we had last weekend.
Sure.